praying that his signed Tony Bennett CD survived the fire. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on the show. All right, so once again, a little bit of a different format for today's show, just to address all the breaking news and what's going on, and moves and curfews and National Guardsmen and looters and arsonists. Oh, my. So last we spoke, I was coming to you from my hotel room in Burbank, California, and then I was slated to do a couple of shows over at Kimmel's Club in Las Vegas. So we decided to leave a day early and just head out there and stay out in Vegas and avoid all the rigmarole out here. Now, updates. So they are not letting us or others back to our neighborhood in Malibu. It took a while, but sometime, maybe the following day after we spoke last, I was able to glean that the condo I'm in Malibu remained intact. So everything in front of it essentially burned, and things to the side of it burned, but not all. But the condo is intact. Now, it is fairly random, and you can see it when you go and look at fire devastation. Sometimes the entire blocks are burnt, but sometimes single homes are spared for no good reason, although they don't have a cedar roof and they don't have wood eaves and fascia and stuff like that. It's usually the more modern design that makes it. Metal roofs or flat roofs, stucco on the outside, aluminum or steel windows, no wood trim, and nothing too light on fire. Eventually, everything catches on fire if it gets hot enough, but my place is a little more modern, so it doesn't have the wood eaves, and I built enough houses to sort of figure that one out. And later on, maybe I'll get into some techniques and some things that people can do, because people have been asking me online. So I got stories to share with you, but it looks like my condo was spared for no good reason, because everything in front of it is gone. And the way the fires work is the fires start up on the hill, and then they come down the hill, and then hopefully they stop at PCH, because on the other side of PCH are homes, and then it's sand and ocean. But they usually stop when they get to the bottom of the hill. So I was looking at depictions of everything in front of me on PCH on the ocean side burnt to the ground. So I was just doing the math. Well, if the fire's coming down the hill and I'm up the hill and everything in front of me is gone, then my dwelling must be gone as well. But it had turned out just miraculously, it was not. Sort of Trump assassination-esque. For some reason, some unknowable reason, it made it past my place and then to PCH and then burnt everything. And so I asked Joe to look up, and we'll put this, it's only about 60, 80 seconds, but I was cruising around online and I was able to find tape of this. Now, this is before you get to Dukes, because this looks like after Dukes to me. But I'll give you the timeline. But it's carnage. It's total devastation. It's everything that runs along PCH. But this is not Dukes, is it? Sorry, long conversations on the way in from Vegas. This is everything after Dukes. But either way, you can probably roll it back a little bit. But you can see the tons of power lines everywhere that are on the ground when you see this. And all this does is look like war-torn Beirut. These are the most expensive houses, arguably in the world. And They're all down to the ground. Somehow the beach club remained. Terracotta roof, stucco everywhere. I guess that was part of it. But a lot of people know Duke's, which is a big landmark restaurant on PCH, and Duke's is very close to where I live. Now, Duke's is intact. It didn't seem to be touched for some reason. And then there's a condo complex on the other side of it that didn't seem to be touched for no good reason. And then there's a service station, a gas station on the other side of it, which didn't get touched for no good reason. And there's a little mall at the bottom that has a liquor store and a breakfast burrito joint. And then for some reason, the carnage starts. And these are just beach houses that have been there, some from the 40s and the 50s. And like I said, just your average $15 million beach house. Now you can look at all the goddamn power lines that are everywhere. It's an eyesore, but now it's become a burden. I hope that they use this opportunity to bury those power lines. That's what I hope, but we shall see. Now I can't go back to my place in Malibu, ironically, because there is no power, because all the lines are on the ground. And there's really nothing to do. God knows what's waiting for me inside that refrigerator, because the power's been off for coming up on a week now. But total and utter devastation. I have no idea what the insurance process is. I have no idea how they're going to rebuild. I did find out this little tidbit, which I thought was kind of interesting. They said it was going to cost about $130 billion to put this place back together. And like I said, when the homes are 12, 15 million bucks a pop, yeah, you can get why it's $130 billion. But just because I can't stop torturing myself, I decided to go look and see what the estimated cost of the train line between Bakersfield and Merced was estimated to cost. $130 billion. $130 billion to either rebuild all of Malibu, Palisades, Santa Monica, Altadena, Pasadena, Agora, or you could have a 150-mile stretch of desert train going nowhere that none of us will ever ride. Now, I know it's not the same money. I'm just saying, what? How big a money suck is that? So then there's a couple buildings on the left, and they remain for some reason. And then it keeps going, and you'll see more buildings that are fine, untouched, unscathed. And then it starts again. And by the way, where it starts is a good friend of mine's house. Gone. Dust. I have a good friend who lost 2 houses in the Malibu fire. And then inexplicably, it's gone again. And everything's down to the ground. And there's nothing. And now I do not know how the fickle hand of God works, but I don't know. I also find it interesting philosophically that we can predict the wind. We can't do anything about it as it pertains to fire, but we can predict it. We knew the wind was coming days before the wind showed up, which is, I'm not a meteorologist, but it just seems very advanced in terms of olden time sailors wish they knew what we know about the wind. We knew the wind was coming, and yet there's nothing we could do. All right. I will, you can go to Carolla.com. We'll put this clip up there. It's just nuts. It's just random, but realize what you're looking at when you see these places on the ocean side burnt to the ground is hundreds of millions of dollars worth of damage. All right, I have a story I want to share with you that I haven't told in a while. Also, I want to play some clips. One of the clips that's been making the rounds is a clip of a firewoman of color, and it's put out. It's an official clip. It's not her drunk back in her apartment doing a TikTok video. It's an actual video that was put together and produced by the LA Fire Department, and it's been officially out. I don't know how long it's been officially out, and they'll probably take it down. but it's a woman of color, a little bit heavy set, short hair, you do the math, and she's trying to recruit other women of color to be to join the fire department, which, you know, people know. Somebody put out some old videos of mine in front of Congress and so on and so forth. I've always railed against this. It had nothing to do with me trying to join the fire department in 1983. It had nothing to do with that. I feel this way about all jobs, which is some groups are attracted to certain jobs. There are a lot of Filipino nurses in Los Angeles. I don't know why. There are. They make good nurses. I don't care. So be it. My dad would be in the hospital. I would like him to have a good Filipino nurse. That's all. Not one that looks like him. This is from 2019. It's from, it's a clip from a promo of Fox's TV show, 911. All right, so she is going to explain why we need more women of color in the fire department. Here it is.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease.
All right, pause. All right, that's a wildly racist thought, bitch. That's racist. It's so funny. It's so funny how much projection there is with racism. You know what I mean? Like when Biden's like, black people and well, look, black kids and dumb kids and then dumb black kids, they don't have access to, like, okay, you're saying the quiet part out loud, old man racist. The fact that anyone would care the nationality of the person or even the skin color of the person that showed up to help them in a fire is a racist thought that's insane that nobody I know shares. Maybe you think this way because you're racist and you project. Nobody else I know cares. Also, in a fire, aren't you getting a little granular now when you're worried about the race of the person that's coming into the house with the axe and the hose? Is that really something that concerns you while your house is on fire? And then also, as other people have pointed out, when you're coming into a fire to rescue someone, you're wearing full gear. You got gloves. You got the overcoat. You got the boots. You got the respirator. You got the mask on that's a full head respirator. You then put the helmet with the flap. I have no idea what your nationality is when you're coming into a house that's probably dark. I mean, it's probably at night. The electricity's probably gone. It's smoky enough that you can't see your hand in front of your face. You're really going to know the nationality of the person that comes and saves you at that point? Nor would you care. At that point, you could be a Klansman, and that house fire could have started because you were test burning a cross in your own living room. And at that point, you would not care if a black fireman came and saved you. At that point. But okay. We need someone who looks like us in order to save us because somehow they know what we need culturally, which I would argue is completely off the table at that point. Yes, there are differences in cultures, but I think at that point, the fact that this person actually knew how to play the game of dominoes or also loved Scarface would not factor in when my house was on fire if I was a black person. That's all I'm saying. All right, but we'll continue and listen to what she says at the end, which is patently insane. Oh, always rewind it. Always a little caught off guard with the volume in us.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you.
No,
it gives that person a little bit more ease,
no,
knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Okay. All right. They produce this, they edit it, they put a sound bed underneath it, and then they shared it. They shared the part where she was making fun of somebody wanting to be saved by a fireman during a fire because the fella may have been bigger and weighed more than a cat or a dog or a thin woman. And she then mocked the person who needed to be removed from the place that was on fire. That was insane. Now, this whole thing is insane. The fact that that went through an edit bay and went through a producer and got looked at and edited and then put out without somebody raising their hand going, are you fucking nuts? What are you crazy? The number one argument that people use when they say we don't want female firefighters is, I don't think this woman is capable of lifting this full-size man out of a burning building, and I don't want to be trapped behind. She then addresses it and then mocks the guy one more time, just because it's, look, the fact that she says it isn't unbelievable, although that's insane, and that's another story, and that's another problem with DEI, is we made these people feel like apex predators or endangered species or something where they could just fucking say whatever they want. That is a nutty thing to say, and somebody behind the camera should have said, let's do another take that doesn't involve you leaving people to die. Can we do another one that does not involve you leaving men to die? Okay, here we go.
Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Okay, bitch, that's your only job. And yes, he did get himself in the wrong place. Maybe he's in a hotel, and maybe the hotel catches on fire, and he's got nowhere to go. Yes, he's in the wrong place. There's a fire. I don't know if he got himself into the wrong place, because it's not like he walked into a fire. I would say he fell asleep and a fire happened around him, and maybe now he's disoriented and can't escape. He doesn't have oxygen. You have oxygen, and then he could get saved. But I don't know that we should blame the people that were trapped in the fire for being trapped in the fire. This is a little victim shaming to me. But anyway, that's her response. Hey, is a woman strong enough to carry a full-grown guy out of there? Hey, that's on you, douche. That ain't on me. I ain't saving you. By the way, if she said that about a cat, people would be outraged. People are like, that cat had no business being in the house. People would go nuts. People would scream for her resignation. Now, here's my whole point. The DEI shit has gotten so fucking far out of hand that these people feel like they can say this into a microphone, and then it goes through the edit process, 100 eyeballs on it, and then they go, we're going to launch it on Sunday night when we launch the TV show. That's how fucking far this has gone. They do not feel like they have to look over their shoulder or they may get fired. I will hearken you back to Lori Lightfoot, mayor of Chicago. Remember, she told everyone to lock down or she was going to arrest them, but then she went out to the beauty salon, and when she got questioned on it, her answer was,
city. I'm on national media and I'm out in the public eye, and you know I'm a person who I take my personal hygiene very seriously. As I said, I felt like I needed to have a haircut. I'm not able to do that myself.
Okay, so her answer is fuck off, honky. I'm getting a haircut. Now, Gavin Newsom gets popped every once in a while, and he has to feign remorse. He has to go, yeah, it was a mistake. Hindsight being 2020. There's more people at the party than I thought there was going to be. He has to put on a bullshit backpedal. They don't even give a fuck. They're like, what are you going to do? Fire me? You can't. I'm a black lesbian. Fuck off. There's the London breed from San Francisco who, I don't know if you guys heard about it, but during COVID, Tony blew into town, and she had to go see him with no mask. And she was telling everyone else to stay home. But then someone asked her, well, what are you doing out seeing a concert in a building, small club with no windows, with no mask? when you're telling everyone else to stay home. And here's her remorseful answer.
I was sitting at my table, and when, I don't know about you and whether or not you know who Raphael Sadiq and Dwayne Wiggins are.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know about you, but if you know who they are, I don't care where you're sitting. You're going to get up and start dancing. My drink was sitting at the table.
All right. That's your explanation. That'd be like when Gavin Newsom got busted for going to French Laundry. He'd be like, have you guys tried escargot? Come on now. Come on. And a lovely, the right vintage of a Pinot. Unbelievable with the escargot. Like, he has to at least pretend that he gives a fuck. This is a thing. And I've been telling you guys for a long time. You do the DEI hires and they go, fuck off. We can't. I was talking to Dr. Drew about this. He said, yeah, these people are like, they're like the heavyweight champ of the world. They don't give a fuck. I said, no. The heavyweight champ of the world earns his way to the heavyweight championship of the world. Lots of training camps, lots of 5 a.m. road work. And that guy knows as well as anybody there's another hungry dude right around the corner gunning for the strap at all times. And they respect it. I said, this is like if someone hit you with a magic wand and made you the heavyweight champ of the world and said, you'll always be the heavyweight champ. In which case, everyone could just suck your dick. That's what we're experiencing now. One more reason why the whole DEI shit is a disaster is not only we not getting the best and the brightest, but once the best and the brightest take their positions, they don't feel like they need to earn it or keep it because they weren't put there for the right reasons. All right. Anyway, so I don't know. The fact that they made this tape about the black woman saying you got yourself in the wrong spot if you're in a fire, anyone over 180 pounds, that's on you. That's not the part I care about. It's insane, but I don't care about it. It's the part where they thought to put it out. They thought, let's share this with the public. So basically, here's what we're saying. Hey, fellas, anyone or ladies. I mean, I don't know if anyone's been to Disneyland lately, but there's a lot of ladies that are over $180 out there. Anyone over 180 pounds? That house catches on fire and I come in there, that'll be on you. We'll see you in hell. That's the message. Let's record this and let's push that message out. That's a lovely message to send out in modern times. And it's also the number one fear everyone has about the diminutive and or female firefighter who is not strong enough to come through that door. And by the way, to any of my black listeners, if your house is on fire and you're trapped in it and you're black, would you rather see this black lesbian walk through the door or the super white Stipe Miocic, the UFC heavyweight champ are all those years, who is a firefighter? Who would you rather see enter your home? The 6'4" guy who's 235 and 4% body fat, who can do a military press of 400 pounds, or this roly-poly dyke? All right, Dawson, you had something?
Yeah, there's also another wrinkle to this. I mean, in this hypothetical, if your husband gets in a place where he can't get unstuck, do you think the husband, the hypothetical husband she's talking about, do you think that's a white guy?
Could
Guaranteed.
Be. Well, but how do we know that, Dawson?
Well, I think that they probably included that part in the video as a response to how dare you say I can't do my job because I'm a lesbian. Mm-hmm. And in her mind, I'm going to venture a guess that everyone who feels that way is a bigot, i.e. a white person.
Yeah,
I think she's talking about
baked in, but I'll give her the benefit of the doubt because I don't know, but I'm sure it's baked in. All right, the other vid that I think is awesome is there's another lady. Again, the problem with the DEI hires, people, is we don't know who's there because they should be there or there because of their last name or their skin tone or their gender or their sexual proclivities. We don't know. I'm now at the point where if I see somebody who seems different in a position of power, I assume it was a DEI hire, especially in Los Angeles. But then we have the woman who's in charge of keeping water in the aqueducts sit down for a video. And I have no idea why people do these interviews because it always bites them in the ass. She is, what is her name, Joe or Dawson, if you can pronounce this shit? Janice Quinones. Janice Quinones. Again, female, Hispanic, I assume. So maybe this had something to do with it. But she is sitting down with maybe Spanish radio or something like that. I don't know. And the woman who's doing the interview, and by the way, people doing interviews, could we do a little better job of interviewing these people and start asking some real questions? But she then asked Janice, Janisse Quinones, about equity. Here we go.
You call it powered by equity, and I know that it's been really important for the DWP to put an equity lens on everything.
All right, pause it. Department of Water and Power's got to put an equity lens on everything. Okay. That's a little counterintuitive to me in modern times. But okay, there's an equity lens. I would venture to say, just from what I've seen traveling the highways and byways of Los Angeles, that the folks doing the road work for the Department of Building and Safety are Hispanic. That seems to be almost 100% as I drive, but I don't know what's going on the corporate level. But all right, the woman doing the hard-hitting interview wants to make sure that she's putting a diversity equity lens on everything at the Department of Building and Safety. And then she's got follow-ups. Here we go.
You call it powered by equity, and I know that it's been really important for the DWP to put an equity lens on everything.
Not for the people, but for
and
you
that's
guys.
The number one thing that attracted me to this
Number
role.
one, not the aqueduct.
Coming from the communities that I come, seeing what I've seen through my career in utilities and through the military. I've been in the Coast Guard 19 and a half years now, so I got 6 more months to qualify for my 20 years, which was my original goal.
Wow, congratulations, and thank you for your
Awesome
service.
equity.
Thank you, thank
Pretty
you.
awesome. Mhm.
It's important to me that everything we do, it's with an equity lens.
Everything's
and
equity.
social justice.
It's all
and
social
making
justice.
sure that we
Equity.
right the wrongs that we've done in the past
Right.
from an infrastructure perspective. And
Hold on.
we involve.
She's not opening a Holocaust museum. She heads up the Department of Water and Power in Los Angeles. Everything's got to be pushed through the filter of equity and look through the lens of equity. Now, then when you guys fail miserably, can you see why a lot of people are starting to wonder if this isn't a great plan or is a great plan if you're pushing everything through the lens of equity? Okay. All right. So that could be part of the problem. I don't know that it is, but I will say that mathematically, if this is the plan, the product's going to suffer. And look, your job is all things Department of Water and Power. What if I said the NFL playoffs are here? What if I said to any of the head coaches who are live in this playoff hunt for the Super Bowl, if I said, look, I want you to do your job, and I want you to coach your team, and I want you to put together a game plan for the following week, and I want you to look at film, but I also want you to push everything through this lens. Everything's got to go through this lens. Don't you think the play on the field would suffer a little bit if I said, put your playbook together for the following weekend, but also never stop looking through equity, at equity, or anything, any subject. Just look over here, make sure everything is there, and then plan for the victory. I think they would lose, and I think it would hurt the team. That's all I'm saying. All right. Now, a story that I wanted to get to with you as it pertains to this, which isn't one I've shared in a while, but I should. A lot of people were retweeting or whatever, showing a clip of me trying to be a fireman and in front of Congress and so on and so forth. Now, if people want to know what happened was I did get my test date for the written test for the LA Fire Department years after I signed up for it, and I took it. And the reason I took it is not that I was planning on being a fireman at that point. I was doing earthquake rehab for the city. That's another story having to do with equity. But I was doing earthquake rehab for the city, and I was getting paid like $20 an hour. Now, again, the city, just lest you think it wasn't fucked up back then in the 80s, late 80s, is I was made a laborer because I was the best carpenter, and laborers got paid more than carpenters for some insane reason that has to do with the city paying you, which doesn't exist anywhere else in construction. Everything else in construction is journeyman carpenters get paid twice as much as laborers, but not with LA City. With LA City, the laborers get paid more than the carpenters because they fuck up everything they touch. That's how it works. And one of the guys I've told you about, and he's been on this show, was a dude named Jeff Gaines. And Jeff was a typical Topanga SoCal surf dude. Jeff was big and like sort of strong, kind of gangly strong, like surfer dude strong, tall guy, strapping guy. And he lived in Topanga, and my whole crew was like in Topanga when I worked construction back then. And all Jeff Gaines wanted to do was be a fireman. That's all Jeff ever wanted to do. And he volunteered with the Topanga Fire Department, and he would go to the Topanga Fire Department and train. He'd train all the time. It was his dream. His goal was to be a fireman, but he couldn't be a fireman in LA County because he was white. That was the problem. And years later, years after this, I was at a school event for my kids when they were like, I don't know, 6 or 7, and I had to volunteer to MC some whatever. And I run into a dude who's a well-dressed man of color. And he comes up to me, and he's wearing a suit and everything, you know, and he says, hey, Adam. I go, hey, man. He goes, I'm Chipper. I go, oh, Chipper. He goes, yeah. Remember I ran into you doing earthquake rehab work for the city of Los Angeles? I said, oh, yeah. Now, Chipper didn't know anything about construction. Chipper could have been killed. Chipper was a college student who was going on to be a lawyer. He was a successful lawyer now. And when I met him, he was going to a nice college and came from a nice family, but he was black. And Los Angeles needed a black guy on the job. We had to hire a woman. We had to hire a black guy. Now, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, but we had them anyway. And they got paid the same as we did, which was a lot for us, even though they didn't have any skill set, because the city of Los Angeles required that we have this diversity presence. So I was talking to Chipper, who I liked, who, again, had no construction experience. And if you don't believe me, he showed up in like dress pants with a dress belt on and stuff and had no tool bags. And I had an old electrician's tool bag, which is a little different than a carpenter's tool bag, but I had one. And I gave it to him, and he strung it through a Gucci belt. And he just hung this bag through a dress belt when everyone else was wearing construction bags. Now, me and Jeff Gaines had been working for years as carpenters, so we'd sort of worked our way onto that crew. Chipper showed up as a diversity hire with no experience, who, by the way, was like pre-law and going off to a career that Jeff Gaines and I weren't going off to, and our parents were both poor. They should do this stuff based on money, not on skin colors, what I'm saying. But as we're talking at this kid's event, I guess his kid was there, and I liked Chipper. Him and I got along, had a laugh, and had a good time when we were working together. That's why I gave him my tool belt. he said, yeah, man, what happened to that Jeff Gaines guy? I said, I don't know. I mean, if he became a fireman at some point, or I don't know. We lost track. He goes, man, I hated that guy. I said, why? I like Jeff. Jeff was cool. He said he was racist. I said, oh, no, I know Jeff. Jeff's a cool guy. He wasn't racist. He goes, oh, no, he was racist. He was racist to me. Treated me like shit. Because Jeff was probably his foreman, because Jeff actually knew carpentry and Chipper didn't. I said, nah, Jeff's not a bad guy. He goes, no, he's definitely racist. Treated me like shit. I said, oh. No, what happened is Jeff was trying to be a fireman, but he couldn't be a fireman because he was white, and you were only here getting paid the most money me and Jeff had ever seen, even though you'd only been doing carpentry for 10 minutes because you're black, and he took it out on you, which is also the byproduct of this shit. You're going to create hostility and resentment amongst the people that get passed over. So now you got this guy, Jeff, who's getting passed over for being a fireman because he's white, and you're asking him to be nice and not let it bleed into his professional life when a black guy shows up who's completely unqualified and only there because of the color of his skin, now making the same amount he's making. That ain't going to happen. So not only do you get guys who are unqualified in positions where they could hurt other people or hurt themselves, but you also create a very negative and toxic environment for them and the others who feel they were passed by because of this. Just food for thought. All right, we'll take a quick break. I got a lot more right after this. Well, it's chime time. Oh, yeah. I made a rhyme, everyone. A secured credit card with no annual fees. Build credit with money you set aside and avoid interest as well. Start building credit with everyday purchases and regular on-time payments, all with no annual fees. Interest or credit check at chime.com/Adam. So start building that credit. It opens a ton more opportunities because you can't do anything in this nation with the bad credit or even worse, no credit. So start to build credit. Believe you me, I worked under the table for a long time. I was underneath the poverty line for a long time, and it was really tough to get any kind of credit going. And that's what Chime wants you to do. Start building it. Use it everywhere. Visa credit cards are accepted, and build credit using your own money. Access 50,000 fee-free ATMs, more than the top 3 national banks combined. And you can easily find one near you with the Chime app. It's Chime, right, Dawson?
Turn your everyday purchases into steps toward your financial goals with Chime's secure credit card. Get started today at chime.com/Adam. That's chime.com/Adam. Chime feels like progress. The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Out-of-network ATM withdrawals and OTC advance fees may apply. Late payment may negatively affect your credit score. Results may vary. MyPay eligibility requirements apply. Credit limits range from $20 to $500. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details. In the spirit of Murrow, Jennings, Cronkite, here's another great moment in local news.
Right now, if you need help, emergency information, resources, and shelter is available. All of this can be found at URL. Los Angeles, together is how we will get through this.
That's a great moment in local news. Now, back to the Adam Carolla Show.
That's our mayor. She's reading out URL. So if you want to know where to go to URL and get all the updates and information you need on the fire. All right, a little bit scary. Also, she was in Ghana. I don't know what she was doing in Ghana. I don't know that you have to go to Ghana when you're the mayor of Los Angeles.
She's not gonna tell you.
She's not gonna say, but also, I feel like mayor of Los Angeles is a pretty important gig. Hang out. And I'm blaming the fires on her. I'm just saying, stay within striking distance in case shit goes down. All right, lots more to complain about. To finish this story, I signed up to be a fireman. Years later, I got the notification at my dad's old house, or my old house, my dad's current house, but I'd moved out of that house, and that's the address I was living at. That's how I knew it was a long time ago, because I moved out young, and they sent it to his house. I had a date. The date was to take a written test. The written test was at Hollywood High on a Saturday. I didn't really have intentions of being a fireman at that point, because at that point I was making decent money doing earthquake rehab and driving a truck and owned tools and had a profession, which was carpentry. But I went and took the test anyway, because I'd been waiting years. Why not? The woman behind me was a diminutive woman of color who signed up 3 or 4 days earlier. Okay, that was the story. But the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say, I did not have a lot of confidence in passing the written test to be an LA firefighter, because I'd done no studying on it and I was a shit student. So I didn't pass a lot of the tests I took. So I just took it on a whim, and because I had a date and it was Saturday, I didn't have anything to do. So I wasn't planning on it, but I went and took the written test, and I passed the written test, which is kind of nuts because I was a shitty student. Then once I passed the written test, I was like, well, now I had a date for the physical test, which was like 3 weeks later at some firehouse somewhere. And I thought, well, this will be a walk in the park, because I work construction, I box, and I'm strong. I play football, and I'm like athletic, so that shouldn't be a problem. I can carry a hose pack up some stairs and do some of that shit. So I went down and took it. I took all the stuff, the hose pack thing, up the stairs and down the stairs, and I count the number of stairs and the push-ups and all the junk. Pass it all. But not one test. Not one. One test was you stood behind a line, you leaned forward, probably about 3 feet, and you grabbed a rope, a thin rope, and it went up about 30 feet over a pulley and down to like a 5-gallon bucket filled with cement or something, like, I don't know, 40 pounds. I don't know what it was. And you had to lean forward and pull the rope and pull this bucket all the way up, like wearing these thick leather gloves. No hand strength, bad hand strength. All the thing did was slip through my hands the entire time. Could not do it. Failed the one test. Passed the other 8. Just the bucket pull. Canceled out. You failed the physical test. Later on, when I talked to Jeff Gaines, who used to train all the time, he said, oh, you got to train for that one. There's a technique. I said, what's the technique? He goes, grab the rope, turn your hand sideways 90 degrees, pull it down, grab the rope, 90 again, down, instead of just keep trying to pull it as it slips through your hand. He said, there's a whole way. You can't pass that one unless you come trained. But if you came and trained, I would show you the technique to do it. I didn't take it that seriously, so I didn't really care. And I thought, I'll be able to carry the hose pack or whatever. I didn't know it was going to be a rope with a bucket. But I found it interesting that there was like a technique to do it later on. So then I failed out, went back onto the construction site, probably swung a hammer for another like 4 years, and then got into show business. So here we are. Also, other subjects people kind of wanted to talk about, building. Yeah, building techniques, not using so much wood. So let me explain a couple of things. I'm a huge fan of the metal stud and the steel stuff. I do it whenever I can. This studio is metal stud all the way around. All the offices here, everything I framed out here, I did like commercial style metal stud. Metal stud is not load bearing, so you can't really frame a house in metal stud. You can frame it with the orange steel, the thick steel of the I-beams and all that kind of stuff, and then in between go with metal studs. Metal studs Metal studs are super straight. They're not twisted. Wood studs get bent and twisted and zigzaggy and, propellery and stuff like that. And you guys never think about this, but a wood stud you have to drill through with a big fat auger bit to drag all of your electrical conduit, Romex, PEX, water, whatever that is. Metal stud's punched out already. You can just pull everything through it. Much easier. I'm a big fan of metal studs, so I would say yes. And steel, yes. And steel roof, yes. Good. And, people say cement building, stuccos, good. Aluminum windows, steel windows, all that kind of stuff, pretty good. They have drywall that's fire resistant. I mean, most drywall is fire resistant, but eventually everything catches on fire when it gets dry enough and hot enough. They have like burn ratings for drywall. That's why, like in the ceiling of your garage, if there's a room above your ceiling in the garage, it'll be double drywall. So it has double the burn rating, like a 2-hour burn rating or whatever. There's insulation. There's a lot of stuff you can do. And I'm all for it. Now, sometimes people will go, oh, you don't like regulation. No. I'm fine with codes and I'm fine with regulation. It's the reason when an earthquake hits Guatemala, the whole town collapses. When the same size earthquake hits downtown LA, nothing happens. We have codes. We have building codes. I do not like the excessive stuff, but the codes are fine. The codes are there for earthquake. They're there for fire. They're there for safety. I get it. They just go batshit crazy sometimes, and nobody ever says no regulation. They just say back off the regulation. Now, Newsom is talking about backing that off and streamlining and all that kind of stuff, which makes sense because people would go insane if he stuck with it. It was interesting. I was listening to Elon Musk talk, and I don't remember the program, but he was talking and he was saying burdensome regulation. It's stifling. It stifles growth. And everyone goes, well, Jane Fonda wants to know what's wrong with rules. Well, what's wrong with them is we can't build housing in Los Angeles because it's $1 million a unit. And I'm talking about unit, not a freestanding house, because of the regulation. We have too much regulation. Now, some regulation and then bring the house down to $300K or the unit down to $300K. I get it. But this was interesting. And this is before the fires. I was listening to Elon Musk, and he said the regulation just keeps building and building. And so it builds on itself. So you introduce 500 regulations this year and then 500 regulations the next year, and 10 years goes by and you've got 2,500 new regulations. Okay. And then it just keeps going. He says until there's a war. And when there's a war, they go away because now we have to hurry the fuck up. We're going to get killed. You know what I'm saying? So what they do is they then roll all these things back and they streamline everything in wartime. And then we can build a Liberty ship in literally 31 hours, like a troop transport in 31 hours because we got rid of all the regulation because during wartime. And then the war ends and we slowly start building the regulations back up, right? So we're at a point where we've not had any wartime for a long time, and we're the most in the regulation department. But I would argue a massive fire that sweeps across the land and takes out thousands of structures and leaves thousands of people homeless and kills people is wartime. So this is our wartime, and now we're at wartime. Now the people who make the regulations are going to go, you know what? Let's go ahead and try to streamline this a little bit so we can get back on our feet. So that's essentially what it is. Also, this sort of is our, it's kind of when people would say to me all the time, like, when is California going to change its ways? When is Los Angeles going to change its ways? The answer that everyone provided was, well, when we bottom out. We have to bottom out. I'm not sure why we have to bottom out. Oh, we do have Elon. Good pull, Joe, because I didn't set you up for this. But when we bottom out is when we'll do it. Now, I would argue we're seeing ourselves head toward the ground. Why don't we jump out of the plane? And it's like, no, we got to hit the ground first. We got to catch on fire. This fire may be our bottoming out. But let's hear what Elon has to say.
I mean, there is this fundamental challenge that happens, which is that laws and rules and regulations are immortal. And so every year, there's more rules, regulations, and laws, and they don't die because they're immortal. But we're humans, we're immortal, we do die. So that you get this accumulation over time. Historically, what has caused a reset of the laws and regulations has been war. Now, we'd like to ideally avoid war, but we still need this massive reset of regulations and reduction of regulations, ideally without the forcing function of war. But it is an interesting thing that the longer that there is peace and prosperity, the more rules and regulations will accumulate until eventually everything's legal. So that's why I think it is essential that we have a very conscious effort to reduce the laws and regulations, or eventually no one will be allowed to do anything.
By the way, when you juxtapose this to like Kamala Harris going, I believe every child needs a seat at the table. What the fuck is attractive about the fucking bumble talk that has nothing to do with anything versus a guy going, hey, here's what we need to do. But that's all right. There's also a great interview as well. So maybe this will be our war. Maybe this will be our bottom. And maybe this will be our reset. There's also a funny clip of a woman yelling at Gavin Newsom about fire hydrants, which makes me laugh because I love to see Gavin Newsom squirm, as you guys all know. But there's a part of it where I wouldn't be able to bite my tongue if I was Gavin, but she's going after Gavin. Is this the one where he's pretending to talk to Biden on the phone? This is funny.
Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I love her.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately.
By the way, pause it. He was ordering at Chipotle.
No, he was literally talking to the president.
He was literally speaking to him, except for he wasn't speaking to him. Literally. All right.
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now.
Call him now.
And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance.
That's right.
I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids, losing the school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild. We're getting
Why
the
was
resources.
there no water in the hydrants, Governor?
It's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
Oh,
it has to be.
Has to be.
Has
got to be.
Of course.
No, we're not tolerating this.
To fill the hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that.
I literally.
I would fill up the hydrants myself.
Hold on a second. This is why I secretly wish I was a woman, so I could make insane proclamations and not have everyone go, "What the fuck are you talking about?" All right, go fill the hydrants, bitch. Go ahead. I'll wait here. I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this? This is why I'd make a horrible politician. I'd be like, I'll tell you, I'll cut a deal with you, sweetheart. You go pretend to fill the hydrants, and I'll stand here and pretend to talk to Biden. How about that? Does that seem fair? That seems fair, right? There's something you're not doing, and there's something I'm not doing, but somehow we'll both feel satiated. So go over there and fill that hydrant. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a crescent wrench. I'm going to give you a head start. Here's a crescent wrench. Go fill that hydrant. You go over there and fill the hydrant. She's going to do it. I like also, don't get me wrong, I'm jealous of her. When she goes, you know I'll do it. I'm not sure that he's as confident as she is about her ability to fill a hydrant. Of filling the hydrant, you can't stand over it and pee on it. You have to go up to the reservoir that's up on the top of Mount Wilson that's down 170 billion gallons and fill that baby back up. Rewind it. I just like it. I like that she adds, you know I'll do it. As if they have some sort of history with hydrants, these two. Like, oh yeah, you were the hydrant queen in high school, right? Yeah, I was the king. Yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, no, she's going to do it, people. Also, if she was capable of filling the hydrants, it seems like a move she would have made earlier. Now that the fires swept through, probably should have got to it, a couple days back, but let's watch.
To help rebuild. We're getting
Why
the resources.
was there no water in the hydrants, Governor?
That's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
Oh, yeah.
It has to be.
It has to be.
Has to be. Of course.
Doesn't have to be. Hold on, pause it.
I would.
It's like, it doesn't have to be. You could just keep doing what you're fucking doing, and it wouldn't be any different. Just like, somebody can drive their Ford F-150 through downtown and mow over everyone down, and then you just go, unacceptable. That's unacceptable. This has to be different, but it doesn't have to be different. We could keep hiring incompetent people, and then it wouldn't be different. But all right, sorry, she's going to fill the hydrant herself.
It's going to be different next time?
Oh, yeah.
It has to be.
Has to be. Uh-huh.
Has to be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To
everything
fill the
I can.
hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that.
Yeah.
Literally.
I would fill up the hydrants myself.
I would. I understand.
But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see the. Do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address.
Again, I couldn't. See, if I was a politician and she's like, I'll fill the hydrants myself, I'd be like, it'd be a better use of your time. Why don't you get on your Pegasus and have them fly over the hot spots and pee on them? That'd be a little more realistic attack on this fire than you filling the hydrants yourself. I'll do it. Now, I get it. The woman's upset. I get it. She's traumatized. We're all traumatized. It's just a funny exchange. By the way, it's a chick on chick think right here. He's talking to the president, except for he's not talking to the president. It's going to be different because it has to be different, although it doesn't have to be different because you're still in charge. And she's going to fill the hydrant herself, and he knows she would do it. And by the way, there's some water dripping over there. So if we take a travel mug and put it under the dripping water, 45 minutes from now, we're going to have a mug of water that we can throw on the fire, and then we'll do it again. This is just kind of chick on chick crime here, but it's great. I love that he's talking to the president, but not talking to the president.
Literally.
Go back to the part. What we have done to the word literally is insane. He's literally talking to him now, except for he's not talking to the president.
I think he drops 4 literallys, at least
Does
3,
he?
but I think he drops 4 in this entire exchange.
Let's re-examine. Here we go.
Especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids. Losing the school.
Oh, hold on. I forgot about I have kids.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. And I live in a domicile that's made of wood. All right, sorry. Here we go.
Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why
call.
is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get
He's
cell
in
service.
Ghana.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now.
Oh, hold on a second. Can I tell you? There's a whole lot of chick thing going on here. There's also a dusting of formerly hot chick going on here. Because fat chicks with hooked noses and frizzy hair don't make these kind of requests. Like they don't go, hey, Gov, over here, blonde, let's go. Let's do this. Call the president. I'll wait. That is hot. That is hot chick behavior too.
I was going to say the only person that's happy the Palisades burned down is her daily barista, who's like, I'm so glad I never have to see that bitch again.
With all the fuck. Light foam, not too hot. Do you have almond milk?
I want to watch you make it.
Do you have coconut milk? Could you get your supervisor on the phone, please? All right, sorry. I don't even know where we're at.
Immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids.
4 kids.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild. We're getting
Why
the
was there
resources.
no water in the hydrants, Governor?
That's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
That's all he does.
Has to be.
Has to be different.
Of course.
All right.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To fill
everything
the
I can.
hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that.
She knows.
Literally.
I would fill up the hydrants myself.
I would.
Knock yourself
But
out,
would you
Karen.
do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see that. Do you know there's water
I forgot there are a lot of things.
Governor?
It's chick on chick,
There's
but it's also
water
hot
coming out
chick
there. You can use
on
it.
hot chick crime going on here. All right, you can punch.
I counted 4 literally.
4 literallys. There's another good one, which is Biden is doing a presser with Gavin Newsom. The sound is bad, but he's come here to offer his condolences. Although every time something goes south, he offers up one of his sons first, which is I don't know. I don't know if anyone's ever pulled Biden aside and went, listen, if you're talking to grieving people, please don't make it about yourself. They hate it. It agitates them, and then people make fun of you on the news. So don't do it. Just make it about them. But this is what he has to say.
Counting what's happening. All I want is to do my son was out there anyway. They got a notification yesterday that their home was probably burning around. Today, he's still standing. I'm not sure.
All right, you can pause it. He said his son lives out here. His son lives in Malibu, and yesterday got a notification said his house burned down. His rental house. The house he rents. Not his house. The house somebody else owns. So if somebody was in my condo renting it for me and it burned down, I would have some sympathy for them, but really the person that owns the structure without the insurance, that's probably more the victim in this particular case. It's not his house. He rents a house here.
I think you could argue that he's not even paying the rent.
Oh, you also got to feel sorry for the taxpayer because the Secret Service rent a house for $16K a month across the street because he wants to live in Malibu. But hypothetically, I have a challenge for you. So you can look it up, Joe. I guess his house burnt down, but it's not his house. It's just the house that his dad pays for, or sugar daddy pays for. But I'm not going to file that under we've all lost a lot. My crackhead son lost a rental house in Malibu. But okay. Then he's also got some good news to share with us along the way.
Great-grandfather.
All right, so you got to roll back 10 seconds or something.
I'm a great-grandfather as of today.
All right, pause it. All right, so good news. I know you guys lost all your homes and your life savings and no one's insured. Maybe you lost a loved one, but my son lost his rental house in the Boo. And good news. Got a grandson, great-grandson. So my work is done here. You guys can rest easy on your cot or your inflatable mattress that's in a gym with a whole bunch of other people that got displaced because I have a great-grandson born today. And I like the seals out there that are like, yeah, okay, good news. But here's a hypothetical. Here's something. His son, Hunter Biden, lost a house in a house fire. This guy has passed out smoking crack 200,000 times, 0 fires. Moves to Malibu, 6 months in, house gone because of fire. That's what I would say if I was trying to rally the troops. I'd go, this guy's fallen asleep with a lit crack pipe on his chest and a fucking lighter going off 1,000 times, 0 fires. Moves to Malibu, fire. Immediately. Gone. It's a nice place. All right. Gone. And again, this Secret Service house that we pay for across the street for $16K a month, I guess that's gone as well. All right. One last thing to scream about. So the National Guard has pulled in. And the National Guard has pulled in because there have been lots of stories about lots of looting because we live in Sodom and Gomorrah times here in Los Angeles. Like, we are so bad that after we mismanage the fires, then all the human beings that are criminals that are running around the streets who are tired of doing street takeovers and tired of pulling copper wiring out of street lights now have mobilized, and they're tired of looting the CVS and the drugstores and the Gucci purse shop and everything else. They're bored. They've now taken to looting because people are being removed from their parking lots, or I should say being removed from their neighborhoods and transported places. And so the neighborhoods are empty, and now the looters have moved in. So we've called the National Guard, and the fine people of Santa Monica and Malibu and the Palisades are very happy that the National Guard is now here protecting their homes and their valuables and their property and stopping arsonists who are copycat arsonists who are starting and trying to light more fires and being successful. So the people of Santa Monica, people of Palisades, people of Malibu are happy to see the National Guard. But when BLM was burning everything to the fucking ground in Seattle and in Chicago and in Portland, you pussies were against the National Guard being called in because it wasn't your shit that was on fire, and it wasn't your store that was being looted, and it wasn't your house that was being looted. That was somebody else's. So during the entire BLM riots, when everything was being burnt in the ground, well, those were just business owners who may have lived in the Portland area. So they can fuck off because you're too busy virtue signaling and taking a stand. And God forbid Trump suggests that the National Guard be called into these cities. You were dead set against it, citizens of Santa Monica, because you're so much better than we are. But now that it's your shit that's getting looted, well, now you're happy to see the boys in uniforms that are cordoned off your neighborhood with your precious shit in it that you don't want to see stolen or burned to the ground. You didn't give a fuck when this was going on in every blue city in the United States. You were all against it. Well, now it's your city and you love it. So think about that, you fucking hypocrites. All right, take a quick break. Dawson's got some news, and we'll do it right after this. All right, New Year's resolution, vow to eat healthier, but what about your beloved pets and their nutrition? Yeah, you're doing better, but they're getting a bunch of dried up old kibble. Dr. Dennis Black created Rough Greens and Meow Greens to bring their dead food back to life with live vitamins and minerals, probiotics, enzymes, omega oils, antioxidants, and more. See, pet food is dead food, and you eat dead food, soon enough, you're going to join it. You need to bring it to life. All, by the way, in a tasty formula your dog or cat will love. It'll improve their coat, digestion, energy, and mean less vet bills. I've been doing this with Phil, holding the sack right now. VitaSmart. You don't have to buy food and keep it in the refrigerator. You just sprinkle this on top of the food you're currently serving your dog or your cat. Get a Jumpstart trial bag. It's normally $20. It's free with the promo code Adam. You just cover shipping. It's a free Jumpstart trial bag. That's it. You just go to ruffgreens.com, use the code Adam, try it out for free. Your dog's going to love it, and you'll notice the difference quickly in your dog's vigor and health. Rough Greens, so good, your pet will ask for it by name.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace, I took your Fleetwood Mac challenge last night. I was listening to the podcast about 11 last night. Got up to go to work this morning. 8 hours later, landslide hit me as I turned the car on. Get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
It's so funny because I was highlighting a note that said Mick Fleetwood pool pump as you were saying that. I wasn't aware we had that drop, that bumper, but I also could not avoid. It's the Fleetwood Mac Eagles challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I have not been able to get in the car and not hear Fleetwood Mac or Eagles for more than 7 minutes. The 2 times I got in my car in Vegas, the Eagles were on when I got into the car, times 2. They're shittiest songs. I wrote it down. It's a long story. But anyway, the point is this. I was thinking back on if you have a home and it's in a remote space and you have a swimming pool, get one of those high-capacity pumps you can throw into your pool with a hose on the end of it. You'll have 50,000 gallons of water sitting there. And if the hydrants go dry and that bitch isn't around to fill them up or whatever, you have a body of water. It's called your swimming pool. You have to get a high-capacity pump. It's not that big a deal. And you literally throw it into the deep end of your pool, and you can pump as much. You got a pool's worth of water to put on your house. But one story I haven't told in a long time, but when I was interviewing Mick Fleetwood many years ago on MTV, all the celebrities live up in the hills of Malibu. That would include Mick Fleetwood, and a fire blew in. And imagine this guy with the memorabilia, with the guitars, with the drums, think how much equipment that guy has in the stories they could tell, not to mention just some sunburst or something that's worth. He said he didn't know what to do with it all. Whole place was going up, threw it all in the swimming pool. Smart, except for the fire missed his house.
Okay.
And now all the shit's in the swimming pool. But I still... all that stuff's like laminated wood, and it's going to delaminate. It's not going to be good, but it's still better than burning up. So anyway, go ahead.
Let's just start with a recap on what's been going on since January 7th of this year. Now, these statistics are according to CAL FIRE. Some of them I don't think are correct, but they are up to date on CAL FIRE as of our recording this on Sunday evening. They will change. So far, emergency fire has responded to 19,300 total events. They were monitoring currently 105 wildfires. Most of them are cool. 40,300 acres have burned. CAL FIRE is reporting 10 fatalities. I heard on the way in that number is actually 16, and I'm sure it's going to go way up. 12,300 structures destroyed. Palisades Fire, 23,000 acres, 11% containment. Eaton Fire in Pasadena, Altadena, 14,117 acres destroyed, 27% contained. There is news coming out right now. It's unverified, but the LA Times is reporting that the Eaton Fire could possibly have started from an electrical transmission tower that was faulty.
No.
Now, I also saw some video, and we can find this. This is in the email that I sent at the beginning of the Palisades fire. Someone was up on the mountains when the Palisades fire started. They saw the flames. They took some footage. I did not see any electrical wires near that. I know it's going to take some time to figure it out, but arson is not out of the question. Electrical is not out of the question. Homeless camping is not out of the question.
I talked to the firemen who were down in Malibu some months ago, and they just said every fire we put out is because of a homeless guy up in the camp who got high, fell asleep.
Now, there was a fire in Sylmar, the Hearst fire. Right now, that's 89% contained. That's the one closest to my house. That's burned 799 acres. And then the Kenneth fire in West Hills, not getting much coverage on this one. Thankfully, that one is 100% contained as of now. Has burned 1,052 acres, but really scary for those people in West Hills, especially with the wind coming back. Let's hope that the firefighters can hold that 100% containment, because you get winds in again and it could really completely destroy everything.
You know what's funny is I was thinking about, you have these decrepit power poles with these decrepit wires on them, and they're literally, some of them are literally like 100 years old, just 100 years old. And they're all the entire length of PCH, right?
Right.
And I was thinking about some of those, I was thinking about the city and the people, because I pass by, because I have the construction background, I'd always pass by all the building. When those guys are doing their foundation on the ocean side, they're building on the ocean side of PCH and they're laying their foundation, they got $3 million into the foundation, because they got these big, huge caisson rigs, which are big drill bits, and they got to go down 40 feet, and they got to go into bedrock, and they have to put cages down and then attach them all with these grade beams. I mean, they have hundreds of yards of everything pumped into that foundation, right? They have a foundation that could handle a 10.0 earthquake, a tsunami, whatever it was. And now, what would happen is if a tsunami blew in, the house would be gone, but the foundation would
right.
Now the fires blow in, the house is gone, but the foundation will never leave.
Right.
And so that's what the city requires of them. Directly in front of the home where the guy put $3 million into the foundation is a 100-year-old telephone pole with a bunch of wires strung across it that in a windstorm is going to fall over and catch the guy's house on fire. That's the city's job. That's what they do. They require, and then there's the forced maintenance, and then there's the aqueducts, and then there's the fire hydrant. They require nothing of themselves, everything of you.
But they also, add to that, those power poles, and you mentioned this before, are covered with creosote. Basically, it's toxic to the earth.
Yes.
Something that the Coastal Commission and the Sierra Club would never fucking let you put anywhere near the ocean.
No.
But because it's a government agency for the power, we don't care if you put this shit within 100 yards of our ocean. But tell someone from the Coastal Commission, those power lines that are just that one right there. I need to put one of those on my property. Never happened.
I am telling you, now they all burnt up. Half of them fell over, but they've all been compromised. They have to redo the post. Okay. If they do not bury those power wires, if they try to go back up with another telephone pole in 2025, I'm going to go down there like Jane Fonda and chain myself to one of those DWP pieces of equipment and go on a fucking hunger strike. No poles. All right, here we go.
A little update to your Karen Bass story. She was in Ghana during the fire. Did you know that she gave an interview to the New York Times on October 17th, 2021?
No.
Where she stated, I took a picture of it with my phone so that I have it here. Karen Bass stated, I went to Africa every couple of months, all the time, she said.
Whoa, I thought she went to Cuba every couple of months.
She's been there
That's
too.
when she was younger.
Yeah.
Okay.
The idea of leaving that, especially the international work and the Africa work, I was like, I don't want to do that. She ultimately decided that she did, telling the LA Times that if she was elected mayor, not only I would, of course, live here, but I also would not travel internationally. The only places I would go would be D.C., Sacramento, San Francisco, New York, and L.A.
But what if someone got elected in Ghana? Then you would have to.
You'd have to. What if the Olympics were in France? You'd have to go. You'd have to go.
You know, it makes me laugh when I think about. Got
to go to Mexico. She went to Mexico too.
I think about Newsom saying we got to get these leaf blowers switched over to electric leaf blowers for the environment, and then the whole fucking town burns down. Like, what is a leaf blower put out versus a minivan burned to the ground? The fact that the number, he's like, we need to get people in electric cars. We need to get them into these Teslas. But what's it putting in the atmosphere when the Tesla burns to the ground, Newsom? Like, you are undoing every single thing you're asking for.
By thousands, by tens of thousands of degrees.
Yes. Well, because orders of magnitude, because switching everyone over to electric maintenance tools for the lawn, electric lawnmower, electric weed whacker, electric leaf blower versus setting everything on fire. Okay. Okay.
Well, the next layer of problems is about to come. It's too soon to know the full cost of repair. By the way, I heard at the beginning, 2 days ago, I heard somebody say, a news outlet say, $50 billion would be
That's
the
what
estimate.
I heard.
And I immediately told my friend, triple it.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no way it's 50 bill. It's at least 150.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm saying double it again. It's the 300 billion easy. I don't know. Anyway, it's too soon to know the full cost, but most people have already been. A lot of people have already been dropped from their insurance. There's no way they're going to be able to rebuild as big insurers try to protect their profits from natural disasters. Southern California homeowners are left with inadequate or non-existent insurance. Last year, State Farm, Jake, the nation's largest insurer, the state's largest insurer, announced it would drop coverage for 30,000 home insurance policies. It included about 1,600 in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood.
Yeah, look, there's enough blame to go around, but here's the thing. You know, you kind of go, hey, what's going on, insurance companies? They do the same with the gas. Gas is $6 a gallon. We're going to go after these gas companies. Well, how come they only do it in California?
Right.
How come all these companies seem to be able to operate everywhere else, but not in California? And then there's something evil about them when it comes to California. Or maybe you're creating some environment that makes it difficult for them to exist.
Do you happen to remember, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, probably Newsom's first term, when gas prices really started to shoot up?
Yeah.
He said he was going to get to the bottom of it.
It's getting to the bottom of it.
We've never heard anything else from it. Now he's going to get to the bottom of the water.
He's literally got the CEO of Chevron on the phone right now. Right now. Literally.
Do you remember?
I'm talking to the guy now. Literally. Like, yeah, I know. He's going to get them to stop gouging us. But as I've said, why not gouge everywhere?
Here's another interesting
thing. If I'm them.
Do you remember the rainy day fund in California?
Yeah.
Jerry Brown had kind of set up this rainy day fund, and we were supposed to have this surplus of cash to fix any problems should a rainy day come. Now, then a few years ago, we had a winter of the worst storms we've ever had. Literally a rainy day. Mm-hmm. Destroyed roads. They had to raise taxes because they didn't have the effing rainy day fund that they were saving for rainy days.
It's all a shit show, Dawson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So much we know, so much we don't know. The one thing I think we can be sure of is Newsom is done, which would be really nice.
That'd be nice.
The fire chief said that LA fire chief said that staffing shortages and lack of resources have been pressing issues facing the department for years. She said the city of Los Angeles failed its over 100,000 displaced residents who were forced to evacuate from the ongoing wildfire siege. When asked if Mayor Karen Bass failed the city, I believe her name is Kristen Crowley. Yes, Kristen Crowley, LA Fire Department chief, replied, yes.
I love it when the bitches turn on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not happy. And the mayor's not happy. She's talking shit because the whole plan is to never admit anything ever. You just announce that this is something that's unacceptable.
Oh, it's unacceptable.
After it's happened. Yeah. And that's how it works. But, yeah, they're throwing each other under the fire truck.
Well, LA slashed the fire budget by over $17 million. And it is certainly affecting the way the city is able to respond. And then Newsom,
we spent $24 billion on homeless.
Yes,
and that got worse.
Yeah.
All right. Just so you keep some things in perspective. You go $24 billion on homeless, and the budget for the fire department's under $1 billion, I believe. But you can.
The budget, it went from $837 million to $819 million, which is still a substantial amount of money, but $17 million goes a long way.
Yeah, but $24 billion gets us nothing. So I don't even know what money. What money is. I will ask one more time: any of these people who've been displaced and are now homeless, anybody sleeping on the sidewalk? I don't know anybody. I've been offered by many people to stay at their place, which I'm thankful for. But again, it's because I'm not a junkie and I have a network of friends. Go ahead, Dawson.
Gavin Newsom also cut money from the state's fire budget, $100 million in 2024 before these fires hit. And that California state budget, let's see, a spokesman for Newsom said that under the governor's leadership, I love this news outlet put leadership under quotes.
Oh, wow.
I'm not saying if they're actually quoting the spokesperson or quoting leadership, but either way, it's funny. The Cal Fire budget doubled from $2 billion in 2018 to 2019 to $3.8 billion in 24-25. So that's what they said. That's what their answer was. Well, we're spending more money than we spent before still. And it's not really the answer anyone's looking for. Actor, comedian Steve Byrne, guest of the show, called out the state's politicians, including Newsom and Bass, for the mishandling of the wildfires. He said, I believe the leadership from Governor Newsom, DWP, down to the mayor, will face incredibly steep repercussions for their lack of leadership and foresight. It's criminal from a governing perspective and heartbreaking from a personal perspective. I wonder if we can find Mel Gibson. He might have been on Laura Ingram's show on Fox News. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but Mike Lynch told me at the end of it, Mel Gibson tells Gavin Newsom to stop spending so much money on hair gel.
Yeah,
I
think it's a little bit of a trope, the hair gel joke. I mean, don't get me wrong. I hate Newsom, and I love making fun of Newsom. And remember, 10 years ago, when I was explaining to him homelessness, and a lot of the fires are caused by homeless, I told him it was junkies and it was people with mental issues, and he was explaining there was a mother of two who had a full-time job. So
that's the face
I'm not sure how we could solve any of these problems if we then don't know what the origin of the problem is. But that was him just being politically correct. But does everything have to be political? Like, it's homeless and it's junkies expiring in your streets. Why don't we just call it what it is and fix it? Why is that politicized? I don't get it. I mean, we can say it's a hardworking mother of two, but that mother's on someone's sofa right now, not in the street with their pants around their ankles. But anyway, we got Mel Gibson.
See him.
He's on Laura Ingram.
To Governor Newsom or Karen Bass tonight?
Spend less on hair gel. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What can I say to them?
He's still got those crazy Mel Gibson eyes, though.
Yeah.
When he needs to. That's good.
Yeah.
That looked like he looked like Riggs.
Yeah. I can tell you from doing all these shows, the jokes work better on Jesse Waters than they do with Laura.
Yeah.
Or with Hannity.
Yeah.
They're not the best audience.
You were great on Jesse Waters the other day. I got to say this. When I see you on Fox a lot, and I enjoy your appearances because you go in there not knowing what you're going to say or what they're going to ask you. And you're very quick in all of your responses. And a lot of times you're incredibly funny. All the time you're pretty funny, but a lot of times you just blow me away. This last time you were on Jesse Waters, you were fucking pissed. You were calm, but you were pissed. You were the right amount of pissed off. There were no smiles, no real jokes, no laughing, but everything you said was right down to the point. And
well,
I hope you keep doing that.
Yeah, it's easy enough. All right, let's do one more.
All right. Mark Zuckerturd says Biden officials would scream and curse at his employees when seeking removal of Facebook content. He said this on the Joe Rogan Experience on Friday. He said, basically, these people from the Biden administration would call up our team and scream at them and curse. It just got to the point where we were like, no, we're not going to take things down that are true. That's ridiculous. That's what he said. Let's hear him say it.
All right.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and scream at them and curse. And it's these documents it's all kind of out there.
Oh, did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we but I think
I want to listen.
I mean, there are emails, the emails are published. It's all kind of out there. And they're and basically it just got to this point where we were like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous. They wanted us to take down this meme of Leonardo DiCaprio looking at a TV talking about how 10 years from now or something, you're going to see an ad that says, okay, if you took a COVID vaccine, you're eligible for, for this kind of payment.
Mesothelioma is what
class action lawsuit type
class
meme.
action lawsuit.
And they're like, no, you have to take that down. And we just said, no, we're not going to take down humor and satire. We're not going to take down things that are true. And then at some point, I guess, I don't know, it flipped a bit. I mean, Biden, when he gave some statement at some point, I don't know if it was a press conference or to some journalists, where he basically was like, these guys are killing people. And I don't know, then all these different agencies and branches of government basically just started investigating and coming after our company. It was brutal. It was brutal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Your company's worth billions and billions of dollars. You still bowed to everything they asked. I'm not buying this mea culpa. I am stoked that they've gotten rid of their fact checking department. I'm stoked that they're trying to turn something around. I have little faith in it. I don't like that guy. I don't think he is sincere. I think he found himself on the wrong side of something, and he's a nerd, and he feels bullied and beat up, so he's trying to turn it around and play the nice guy, and I think it's bullshit.
Well, when the government comes at you and says, we're going to fuck you up, there's not a lot of people that would make the business decision to tell them to go pound sand. That's number one.
Certainly you and I, in any business level that we're involved in. Facebook, Zuckerberg is one of the 10 richest people in the world.
No, I agree.
He did not stand up because he was afraid. He did not stand up because he was into being told what to do. He was on a team.
Yeah, but listen, you can personally have cajillions of dollars and be set for 1,000 lifetimes. If you said to Jimmy, we're going to fuck you up and we're going to fuck your show up and we're going to put you out of business, he might think to himself, I have enough money for myself, but I employ all these people. And also, at a certain point, it transcends money. It's this is my company, and I have thousands of employees. And
but when something is obviously wrong, when there is obvious government censorship coming down,
yes,
you know the difference between right and wrong.
Yeah,
and you chose wrong.
You chose wrong because you have thousands of employees that are going to be put out if the government comes at them.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I I don't buy that for Zuckerberg.
Well, I don't listen. I blame the government, because if the government says to anyone, "We're going to fuck your shit up," I don't care, mom and pop business or biggest business in the world. Right. When the government comes at you and says, "We're going to fuck you up,"
100% believe.
Then everyone goes, "Fine. What do you need from us?"
Blame the government. Absolutely,
100%.
Yes.
So I don't call the guy a hero, but I do blame our government. But now listen,
I do as well.
All you fucking pussies out there that have your panties in a bunch because these guys are going to be able to speak freely now, go fuck yourself 1,000 times with 1,000 rusty mop handles, because you're now worried that misinformation and disinformation, after you've been creating all the mis and disinformation for the last 10 years, give me a fucking break. You are pissed off because you can't control the narrative, not because the narrative is dangerous. It's only about control. You guys were wrong about everything. You had control and you forced everyone to capitulate. And now you don't have control and you hate it. But it's not because it's dangerous, or if it is mis or disinformation, then what are we talking about? Ivermectin and horse paste? Like, what are we talking about here? It's insane that they even have the gall to feign that they're upset about this new thing and how dangerous it's going to be when people start making their own decisions. All right. I'm going to be in Solana Beach at the Belly Up this Sunday doing 2 shows. Jay Moore's going to be there as well. And then Covina at the Laugh Factory. Paul Rodriguez will be there. That's a live podcast as well. Boca Raton. Ooh, no fires there. Naples, off the hook. Naples again. Just got Carolla.com for all the live shows. We appreciate that we got such a great response to our little intimate show we did from the hotel room the other day, and it got some traction out there. So thank you guys for spreading the word and passing the show around. We'll get back to our normal format as soon as things get normal around here. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Mike Dawson saying mahalo.